we will receive the Honorable Andre Dickens, who serves as the mayor of the city of Atlanta. Let's receive him.
Good morning and happy heavenly birthday, the 96th birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. To Bernice King, Dr. Bernice King and the entire King family, to Reverend Warnock, and to Reverend Barber that's here, and the host of spiritual leaders that are all here today, as well as the King Center staff, as well as all the elected officials that I see in the house, and today's community members and invited guests. Thank you for being here. I got to start off by saying what a blessing it is that Ambassador Andrew Young is on the mend this morning and back at home. I consider it a privilege to represent the people of Atlanta every day and each year as we gather to honor Dr. King's vision, courage, and commitment to justice. I hear people say that they love Dr. King, they love King's message, and they love his vision. And I'm a deacon of a Baptist church here in Atlanta, and my pastor often says that love ought to look like something. You see, love ought to look like something. In John chapter 21, verse 15 through 17, you have Jesus asking Peter, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" And Peter says, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And then Jesus says, "Feed my sheep." And then Jesus asks Peter again, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" And Peter answers, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus says, "Take care of my sheep." Then the third time, Jesus asks Simon Peter, son of John, "Do you love me?" And Peter says, "Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you." And Jesus says, "Feed my sheep." 3 times he told him that if you love me, feed my sheep. Love ought to look like something. Love ought to look like feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, healing the sick, housing the homeless, teaching and developing the youth, providing for our aging seniors and widows, standing up against injustice, consoling the brokenhearted. Love ought to look like something. Sometimes love is light in dark spaces. As Dr. King says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I must admit that in the midst of today's celebrations, I stand before you saddened by recent events in our city and the state of affairs across our country. Fires, floods, violence, prejudice, poverty, and division across the land. Last week was one of the toughest weeks I've had on this job. What began as a week of managing snow, then tons of meetings, press conferences, ribbon cuttings, etc., it ended in tragedy with Mr. Cornelius Taylor dying in an awful accident while public works workers were attempting to clean and close what was one of the largest homeless encampments in the city of Atlanta. Those individuals putting them into housing. This terrible incident is heartbreaking and serves as a constant reminder, a humbling and solemn reminder that Dr. King's beloved community is still under construction. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but when times get hard for me, when the road seems a little less clear, I turn to my Bible. And in this particular time, I have found myself reading Paul's letter to the Galatians. Paul, like Jesus, said that words and affirmations done are not, that alone is just not enough. Love really ought to look like something. As Paul put it, we must live out our faith, that our beliefs should be evident through how we treat one another, how we care for the least, the last, and the lost. Or as Dr. King put it, life's most persistent question is, what have you done for others? Or for my hip-hop generation, you gotta walk it like you talk it. Or as Jesus simply said, feed my sheep. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to build a beloved community. I am proud that a few months ago we committed $60 million to house the homeless, the largest amount in the city's history. I'm proud that we are working to house our unsheltered population. But you see, homelessness is just a symptom. We've got to get to the root causes, which is why we will build or preserve 20,000 units of affordable housing by 2030. We will continue to hire our young people and pay them a living wage. We will care for our seniors and feed our hungry and clothe those who need it. In the coming weeks, I will detail a plan that will address the persistent issues of poverty and income inequality that have plagued our city and our nation for far too long. We will build a city of thriving, safe, and connected neighborhoods where our kids can succeed, our families can flourish, and our businesses can grow. But we cannot do this work alone. We need everybody, everywhere, to do everything they can to join this effort. As Michelle Obama would say, do something. From our partners in government to our friends in the nonprofit sector, from the business community to our service providers, all will have a role to play. We have a lot of work to do, a long road ahead. But Paul reminds us in Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, let us not grow weary while doing good. In due season we shall reap it if we do not lose heart. This is a mission that is possible. I cannot speak for what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, or Project 25, or none of that nonsense, but I can speak for the ATL. And I have come to tell you that Atlanta will be a city of compassion, a city of love, and our love will look like something. Amen. God bless you.